Hey guys, okay, I got a cool new tool here today. I got the DeWALT 20 volt max 1.5 inch cordless pruner. This happens to be the tool only version. Going to be doing an unboxing, quick unboxing, go through some of the specs, things it comes with, and then I'm going to be using it on some brush just to see what the capacity is. I won't push it too far because someone actually gave me this to review, so I don't want to destroy it. So we've got 1100 cuts per charge, apparently. It's the DCP R320B. Cut capacity is 1.5 inches. Cuts per second, 1. Total weight, tool only, 3 pounds. In this box, you get the pruner, blade sheath, hex wrench for changing out the blades. It says the blades are non-stick coated. Tool blade change included, which means that little hex wrench. Onboard LED light, 16 times less force on average to make cuts than a manual pruner. And we got 2 stars using a DCB 203 battery sold separately versus a Fiskars 391-651-1003 cutting 19mm birch dowels. It's got a 3-year warranty, 1-year free service, 90-day money back guarantee. Got your blade sheath here. It's pretty cool. Pretty good size. Yeah, it's super light. I mean, 3 pounds is nothing. Even with the battery, it doesn't seem like it'll be that much. And we got the manual in here. Okay, so first thing we'll look at is the blades. They do seem like they have some kind of coating on them, whether it's that black stuff. They're definitely oiled up nice. Pretty heavy duty. This bottom anvil here, whatever you want to call it, is pretty thick. I want to say it's about 3/16 of an inch. And then we got a nice blade. It's not like razor sharp, but most pruners are not, but it does come down to a nice edge. Changing the blade looks like it's pretty straightforward. The tool for it is right here in the handle, which is super handy. Just pop that out. So you have a Phillips and then your hex. So to remove the blade, you just put your hex in there. You rotate this 1 complete turn. That. It just loosens up this block right here. And then hex into here. And the blade pops right out. And then you can either sharpen that or replace it with a new one. So then you just slip your blade back in. Put your screw back in. Just keep in mind there is a captive nut right there. We still have to hold it from coming out. Tighten that down, then flip it over and retighten that. That just makes everything come together. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a safety here. So you have to move this flap out of the way, press this down, and then you can press your trigger. So you can't just press trigger, so that's a child safety device there. Yeah, very compact. The only issue I can see with it is if you had to get in between, let's say you had 2 branches right here and you had to get into a branch over here, it might get a little tight just with this shape versus hand pruners. But if you're using loppers, it'd be the same sort of situation because you'd have to open them up. So yeah, it's not a huge issue, but it's something to keep in mind if you want something a little bit more compact, but small issue. Yeah, so let's get a battery on this. Just using this 5 amp hour, 20 volt. It's pretty quick. I'd say definitely quicker than you could use a set of full-size loppers. Got a nice little light there, in case you're doing stuff at night. Yeah, super sweet. Okay, so let's put our tool back in there. Holds it in pretty securely. And yeah, let's go try it out. Yeah, so using it on the ATV was pretty handy because you can basically operate it with one hand. If I didn't have the other hand on the camera, you could catch the branch. But it's good for, I've got a trail here that I just made a while back with a bush mower type thing, but it leaves a lot of stragglers on the side, so it's great for just walking by and, you know. Again, if I didn't have one hand on the camera, you could catch the branch. I mean, some of these branches you could probably use one-handed cutters, but you know, some of them are getting pretty good size. Like this one here, you'd have a hard time with hand cutters. So you'd have to use your longer loppers, and then you need two hands, and your arms have to go pretty wide apart. And then they get harder when they're dead, like this one. It says no trouble. Okay, here's a good one. This is the one I've cut off before, so it's kind of dead. It's about an inch. You gotta give it a few. This one here, same thing. Let's get these little ones out of the way. Okay, here's one that's about an inch, but it's dead. It won't go through it. So you hold the trigger down, but it comes back if it doesn't go all the way. So if you cut a smaller one, you press the trigger. As soon as you let go of the trigger, it comes back. On these bigger ones that it has a hard time getting through, you hold the trigger, it automatically comes back if it can't get through it. And then you just keep pressing it until it goes through. So it will make its way through. That's good. It just takes a couple presses. Let's see what we got here. This is live cedar. Cuts through the live 1-inch one's not bad. So that 1.5 inch cut, I mean, I'm sure it's doable. I'm not gonna use these because they're not mine. I'm not gonna try it on 1.5 inch, but I can see that if you did, you'd probably have to press the button 2-3 times. Here's another dead one sticking out. It's about 1 1/8 inches, maybe 1 1/4 inches. Well, if you hold that down for too long, you have to repress it to get it to work. 2 presses on that, not bad. Still one-handed, you got to keep that in mind. Okay, here's a maple, maybe 7/8 in diameter. Okay, so overall impressions, pretty impressed by it, given its size and the ability to use it with one hand. I would say the 1.5 inch capacity is doable, but it's a bit of a stretch. They said they did the 1.5 inch on I think birchwood, so that's definitely possible. You know, you start getting into maple and some dead material. That's the biggest thing. When you start using it on dead wood material, it gets a lot harder and a lot harder to cut. So I would say probably not using it on anything more than 1 inch, 1.25 inches, depending on the material. I think you'll be really happy with it. The biggest advantage of this thing is the one-handed operation versus loppers for cutting that same size range material, so 1 to 1.25 inches. You'd have to use, you know, 2 hands, and it's your arms are open wide every time. It's a lot more energy. So I think this fits that spot perfectly. And then of course for the smaller pruning type things where it's that in between really small where a hand one is super quick and that inch size where a hand pruner would be too hard on your hands, you know, using it repetitively. So like any tool, Gardening tool or any tool, it has its limitations, but then it also has its uses. And if you use it for what it's made for, and within reason, I think it's an awesome tool, and definitely something any gardener should have in their arsenal. So if you got any questions about it, let me know. Otherwise, thank you for watching.